Hey Sunflower, hey Bloomer, hey Light Being, it's Martina here at Bloom Beyond. Welcome to this video where we are going to talk about 6 places perfectionism can show up in. So we're going to go through the different areas and really see how perfectionism manifests in those areas and give some examples on how that might be and what that might look like so that you can identify within your own life how perfectionism show up and really see in which areas you might be more perfectionistic than others. It's really helpful to kind of check in with yourself where you're at. And from that point, you also get to come along, if you'd like, into the Bloom Beyond tribe, which is a group and a chat where you get support in being able to overcome perfectionism and really get more clear on what perfectionism is to you and what your life and business, for instance, might look like and what your, wheel of life might look like if you chose to really rip out the roots of the perfectionism at the subconscious level and really sow seeds of acceptance and compassion and brightness, bravery, and balance instead. So let's have a look at this wheel, okay? So we've got relationships, performance and business, housework, appearance, organizing, and health and fitness. So these are the different kind of areas in which I see as a coach in helping high performers with perfectionism, with their perfectionism, how the perfectionism shows up. And it shows up in these different areas, in these different places. So we've got relationships. First, let's chat about this one first, because this is something that I see a lot. We've got perfectionism, right? That might show up as self-oriented perfectionism, which is setting excessively high standards for yourself. And then we have other-oriented perfectionism, which means that you're projecting those excessively high standards onto others in your life, for instance. But then we also have socially prescribed perfectionism, which is where you have societal expectations and standards kind of put onto you, or you feel like they're being put onto you, and then you strive to meet those expectations, right? When it comes to relationships, other-oriented perfectionism might be what's really happening here. So other-oriented perfectionism can really show up as you kind of indirectly or directly controlling the outcome of relationships before they've even started. So you might be really attached to how things turn out, how you are to treat each other, and you might have expectations as to how that might be, and you might feel disappointment and frustration if that doesn't happen the way that you envisioned, for instance. So there's a lot of suffering in that attachment, in those expectations, in that sense of control or need for control. So relationships is big. You can ask yourself, okay, so what areas within my, relationships tend the perfectionism to be triggered? When does the perfectionism get triggered in me? And at what point during the relationships do my sense of perfectionism come forward the most? So that you have a sense of awareness of when that is. That really helps to just have that awareness, see? And when it comes to relationships are meant to be built on connection. And when you have perfectionism, you might struggle to show your most vulnerable, authentic self. If that's the case, then you're not belonging to yourself. And then obviously you're not belonging to another. You don't have that sense of belonging when perfectionism is present in your life, when that is what's driving you. So that sense of vulnerability has to be there, has to be tapped into, and that is a choice. That is a practice. That is a habit that you can train yourself to at a subconscious level. And that can then shift your dynamic in your relationships so that you get to have those true, deep conversations, and that you get to play, get to have fun, get to, do things within your relationships that you might not have done if you had perfectionism. So that's for relationships. Then we have performance in business or work in general, right? So the way that perfectionism can show up then is that you have attachment to certain metrics, you have attachment to a certain amount of income that you should have, a certain amount of clients that you should have, a certain amount of this and that you should have. And so you have these numbers very often that you're attached to, or a vision of how things are supposed to go and they should go. You might also find yourself hustling, staying busy, overworking, really just pushing on. And that can be really detrimental to your business in the long haul, because when you're running a business, what matters the most, you know what it is? It's consistency. And consistency is kind of birthed out of sustainability. How are you meant to be consistent if you're not sustainable? If you're not being sustained? If you're not sustaining yourself? If you're not sustaining yourself, how is the business going to survive? How is that going to thrive? And so hustling is a big part of how perfectionism shows up in performance in business. You might beat yourself up as well and be really harsh with yourself if you don't reach certain metrics. So it can be a real pain, honestly. But then also, I would say procrastination is another one. So when it comes to performance, the other side of performance, if you flip the coin, would be procrastination. Procrastination is a form of perfectionism. So procrastination means that you have a resistance to something. You have resistance to progress. At a subconscious level, you might have a resistance even to succeeding, to flourishing, to blooming, to thriving and letting your business and you shine. And you might have resistance to, showing up consistently as well. Maybe you've never done that before. Maybe you haven't been sustainable before. So procrastination is another way that it shows up in performance in business. Then we have housework. Well, it shows up here too. You can either hustle or procrastinate as well when it comes to housework. So housework, whatever you want to call it, work in the home, work in your apartment, work wherever you are, right? Kind of taking care of your home. You might actually then have certain visions of what that might look like. And you might have excessive kind of, attachment to cleaning, or having the furniture in a certain way, needing things to be in place in a certain way. Now we're talking, bridging over into OCD, for instance. But perfectionism really typically just shows up as feeling discomfort if things are not in order, or projecting onto other people in your relationships, for instance, within your household. Those standards and expectations you have. And it's, of course, reasonable to be able to state that to other people within your home and kind of explain why that matters to you and that is a need for you. But if you begin shaming others or blaming others, or you begin throwing tantrums and feeling really upset and low vibe, really, then that might be because of perfectionism. And it can really take a toll on you. If you try to feel perfect within relationships, performance in business, and housework, all at the same time, trying to deal with all of those, sometimes, actually most of the time, it's fair to let one thing be and then deal with certain other areas of your life. It's when we're trying to do it all at the same time, ourselves independently, that's when you might suffer. Then we have appearance as well. So appearance as to what you might look like. You might have expectations as to what you might look like for your age. You might have kind of excessively high standards for what you should wear, at what point you should wear it, and you might compare yourself and your appearance to others, which comparison is a natural human tendency. But it's when you see someone else and you compare yourself to them and you see that as a sign of you feeling unworthy or being unworthy, that this sense of jealousy and envy can begin to take root. And it's really destructive in the long haul, and it takes a toll on your oh my gosh, it takes a toll on you and the way that you view yourself. See, so appearance is big. Being able to just see and observe your tendencies and what it is that you might think that you should look like, and what you might think that you should do to look a certain way and to appear a certain way. When you're all about appearance, when you're thinking a lot about appearance, spending a lot of your mental energy, a lot of your capacity to think about your appearance, that energy, obviously, you can't spend on other things. So think about it this way. If you are putting a lot of energy into thinking about your appearance, then your creativity oftentimes suffers from it. Then oftentimes your contribution oftentimes suffer from it. Your relationships might suffer too, because you might feel insecure with what you look like and how you look, etc., etc. So appearance is literally more so about energy. That is what it comes down to. When you bloom beyond perfectionism, you have a different energy to yourself. You are bright. You are brave. You're balanced. Not because you have to or should. No. It's because you are. Because that is your essence. Because when you peel off the layers of perfectionism, taking off the masks, appearance here, you're just in tune with you, your essence. See? So identify in what way appearance might be an area where perfectionism is showing up for you. Then we have organizing. Well, it kind of goes hand in hand, right, with housework, but it could also be organizing digital devices, organizing your home, organizing your goals, organizing the to-do lists, organizing the this, the that. Everything is all about organizing. If you are organizing a lot, which I promise you I did, when I truly suffered from perfectionism and was stuck in perfectionism, you should have seen my to-do list, you guys. It was so long. And I remember one of my first Bloom Beyond Perfectionism clients had like 8 to-do list pages as well. You see? So what then happens, and why that is that you might have this need for organization, is because you have a sense of discomfort with things being disorganized. So your kind of stress levels, they increase if you don't feel like you're in control over what's happening. When you don't feel in control over what's happening, then you feel stressed. The sympathetic nervous system is taking over, and your parasympathetic nervous system is kind of shutting down. So parasympathetic nervous system allows you to rest, allows you to trust, allows you to go with the flow, allows you to be. That is why yin yoga and yoga that allows you to flow, or going for a walk, or doing things that are bringing you to present moment, like taking a bath or something. Like, these things can really help you tune into your parasympathetic nervous system. But that's what blooming beyond perfectionism is about. It's about transitioning from being in the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, and being able to be with what is. You can still plan, but it's more so about your relationship to planning, your relationship to organizing. It's changing a lot, right? I remember for me, when I was organizing and doing to-do lists and everything so much, if I didn't cross off something one day, or if I wasn't on top of my to-do list one day, I was like, that says a lot about me. But really, it doesn't necessarily say anything about you and your worthiness. It's irrelevant. Truly it is. It's literally something that we've been programmed to believe from society, that we should be on top of everything all the time, which in fact you don't need to. It's literally just a belief that you get to shift, which I help you with, by the way, in the Bloom Beyond tribe. I'll chat about that a little later. But if something of this resonates right now, make sure to hit the like button, because then we can spread this message to even more people so that they also get to see how perfectionism can manifest in different places in your life. Furthermore, we have health and fitness as well. So health and fitness, well, perfectionism can then show up there as to, how many times you're working out. You might measure your, weight or gain, or you might kind of measure how much you are consuming of certain food, of certain this, of certain that. You might be excessively meditating, excessively thinking that you should do certain things in order to be spiritual. You know what I mean? You might think that you should be a certain way in order to have health, in order to have fitness. You might also find yourself having a lot of your mental capacity go towards food, go towards what you're eating and drinking, right? And also what you look like goes hand in hand with appearance as well. So health and fitness is an area in which perfectionism can really take root. You want to be aware of that, because that can kind of continue spiraling, if you say so, into something that is going to be destructive for you and your health if it becomes excessive. And so being able to bloom beyond perfectionism would then mean that you're able to take care of your health, take care of your fitness, but your outcome of that doesn't define your worth. So the way that you look, the way that you kind of feel, whatever you're eating and drinking and however you are exercising, it doesn't say anything about you and your worth. Those are completely different things. So what I would like to say here to kind of sum up with all these different areas that we've chatted about this far in total is that with perfectionism, what happens is that you basically think that your worth is found in relationships. Your worth is found in your performance in your business. Your worth is found in housework, in appearance, in organizing, and in health and fitness. Your worth is intertwined with your performance, so to speak, in these different areas. You want to ask yourself, is my perfectionism showing up more in either of these or all of them, all at the same time? If that is happening with you, then I would highly suggest doing something about it. By going to bloombeyond.com/apply, you can apply to join the Bloom Beyond tribe, which is my tribe filled with sunflowers and bloomers, high performers with perfectionism who are looking to overcome that, who are looking to really begin to return to that sense of worthiness inside so that you're able to still perform, still, take care of yourself in all these different areas, but it comes from a different place. It comes from a place of knowing that you are worthy regardless, and you get to show up as someone who is bright, brave, and balanced, and you are deep down beneath the layers of perfectionism. You get to then begin feeling alive again, feeling like you are on purpose with your life and business and in these different areas of your life. So go to bloombeyond.com/apply to join, to kind of get part of this tribe, and we will have a look at your application and see if you're a great fit to join, because we want to make sure that those coming in, that they are, truly committed to overcoming it, and you get to be part of it for a month for free as well. And then you might want to actually commit to actually going for like a year of truly committing to overcoming perfectionism in the long haul, and that counts for both in your life and business. Then you can explore Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program and Bloom Beyond Mastermind as well. So that's all for now. Again, 6 places perfectionism can show up in: performance in business, relationships, right? Housework, appearance, organizing, health and fitness. have a look at that for you, see how that applies for your life, and until next time, stay bright, brave, and balanced. Much love.